Welcome to Studio 58A Live, our discussion program coming to you live on Facebook right here at the Jamaica Information Service. I'm your host, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone joining us online. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. And like we have your attention, do us a favor, no? The same thing we always ask every single time. Share this video with 200 people so we can have a lively discussion. And remember to also type in your questions and your comments. We really want to make this an engaging conversation. We have a very engaging guest in studio with us today. Now, in August, Jamaica was introduced to a brand new branch of the Constabulary Force, the very noticeable Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PS-TEB, distinguished by their neon green helmets, bibs, and motorcycles. Their mandate is very clear: ensure improved compliance with the country's road code and reduce crime in public spaces. Initially rolled out in the corporate area, the men and women that make up this unit have been out in their numbers, executing their duties. And here today to give us a status report is head of the branch, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Glad to have you here. Now, at this stage, it's only been a month, almost two. And are you seeing the results that you want to see in terms of the initial impact from the rollout of this branch?
Well, when we initially rolled out, the focus was as you described in terms of those objectives. And yes, we are focusing on that. However, right at the point of our rollout was the whole aspect of the construction that was intensified.
The major roadwork projects.
At the Portia Simpson Miller Square. And so, because of the lockdown of that very used corridor,
right,
and the diversion of traffic through places like Bay Farm and the Walton Park area, our presence was somewhat reshaped to treat with getting people to work on time, getting our children to school on time. The motorists at the very start weren't familiar with the different turns.
Right. Different routes and so on.
And at the same time, the volume of traffic and the type of vehicles that was negotiating those corridors was somewhat, enormous, so to speak. What we are seeing now, however, is a settling down of persons knowing where to go, how to travel, and we have remained constant in ensuring that our presence is along the critical corridors of diversion and at the critical intersections so that people can move about with that amount of ease and get to their destination. So from the perspective of traffic flow and with all the construction taking place, the Portia Simpson Miller Square, the Constant Spring Corridor, the Hagley Park Corridor, I think that we are making our mark. We are seeing the positive comments on the Twitter page of the JCF, Facebook, WhatsApp, and so we have also established, the Commission has established what is known as the PS-TEB tip line, where persons call in or sending their information based on what they are seeing.
Wait, I might have to interrupt you there as SSP. It seems that our people online who we really love and appreciate, they're saying that your mic is very low. So we're going to ask our technical people to see if we can address that real quick as soon as they can, so we can hopefully answer the question. Now, in the meantime, I guess I can just talk about PS-TEB. I understand that they have these very bright neon green rather. I don't know where that came from. Neon yellow?
Yes.
That's what neon yellow.
Yes.
Bikes, bibs, helmets, which makes them very distinguishable when they're out on the streets.
Right, and so the intention was about high visibility.
Right.
And to
very literal with that one.
Yes, high visibility, and it's from two perspectives. One, for officer safety, and two, for public confidence. So you are able to distinguish clearly the police as against any other citizen. And let's say you have a challenge, you can see clearly that there's police presence, and that police presence is critical to ensuring that the confidence of our citizens is built because of the presence that ensures safety.
I'm going to ask you to just unclip your lapel and move it closer up to you. Move it closer up and on. I think that might be the challenge. Hopefully they can, or our people online will let us know
Right,
if the audio improves at this point.
Okay.
All right. Our people online are saying that they couldn't hear him so well.
Okay.
All right. So let us know, people, if his audio improves. We're working on it behind the scenes assiduously. Just let us know if we're improving. We really appreciate the feedback. This is why we have the program, after all. Now, SSP, next question I have for you is, the officers have been trained to engage community members and members of the public as they go about their duties, often in some very difficult times, like when they're in traffic and so on. So how do you feel that the people have been receiving this new branch and the way in which they're going about their duties and so on?
The public, in our view, based on the feedback, is as welcome the launch of this branch, the presence of the officers along the critical corridors. In our town spaces, they have been sending in their messages, and it is very encouraging as to what we are hearing. And as I stated also before, the PS-TEB tip line that has been established, persons are utilizing it in terms of providing real-time information based on whatever situation they might have been encountering, and we use that information to redeploy officers to wherever the challenge is and to ensure that it is addressed.
All right, I'm sure many people will be happy. Can you tell us what the numbers for do you have the numbers for the tip lines so persons online may be able to be informed and so on?
Yes, certainly. I'll give it to you in a short while.
All right, no problem. Because we definitely want persons to take advantage of the opportunity to call them. I'm sure many of us always wish, why isn't there a police officer right there at the moment we see something or some kind of offense happening on the street? So if we get the tip line up, you take advantage of the tip line, ladies and gentlemen. Once you have it, you make a phone call, and as SSP says, they'll be able to redeploy. They'll be able to redeploy soldiers.
The number is 591-5671. That's right. 591-5671, and you'll have to put the 876.
876 in front of that.
It's 591-5671.
591-5671, ladies and gentlemen. Take advantage of the tip line. I'm sure we've all been in the position where we've seen some person disobeying the rules of the road in some blatant and probably very dangerous and reckless way, and we wish we could just call the police that minute. All right,
and that is one of the purposes of the line. In fact, persons have sent in various images of persons who have been behaving badly, and we have been using those information. We don't just get it and look at it. We ensure that it is action. And we want to continue to build on this partnership because overall we want to achieve both safety and order at the same time. And we find this as a critical tool towards ensuring that.
All right, I'm going to make a suggestion to those. What if we were to switch to the other mic so we can have him use that instead of the lav mic? It seems to not be picking up so well. So let's switch and go over to SSP. I'm going to invite you to pull that mic closer to your face just a little bit. This one, yes, just closer to you. As Millicent Myers so aptly pointed out, this is a very important program, and we want you to be able to hear it clearly.
That's fine. Okay, good.
All right, shift it just a little bit so it doesn't block your face. All right, SSP, moving to the next question. You began with a very broad mandate for the branch, but what about your more specific goals? I mean, naturally, public safety and traffic enforcement, those kind of speak for themselves. Right. But I mean, naturally, you break those down into some more specific goals and objectives. Talk to us about some of those and how you're achieving those.
And in breaking it down, when we mention public safety, for example, we have situations where persons would want to sell their goods on the sidewalk. Whatever it is that they are selling, when that is occurring, the pedestrian has to walk in the street. And when the pedestrian is walking in the street, that is not safe.
Right.
So part of our mandate in terms of achieving both order and safety is our enforcement team that is responsible to ensure that that sort of an activity doesn't take place. And at the moment, there are some focus in places like Halfway Tree, Crossroads area. We will be giving some renewed focus in the downtown business district, but at the moment we are finalizing some discussions with His Worship the Mayor along with the Chief Executive Officer of the KSAMC, because it is about partnership.
Right.
And partnership is working with the KSAMC, working with the Transport Authority, working with the National Solid Waste Management Authority, working with the Highland Traffic Authority.
Right.
And these are different entities of government with their own specific roles and function. However, it is important that we collaborate our effort towards greater safety.
Right.
So the KSAMC is responsible to treat with vendors. But so we are working with them in ensuring that in terms of the license that is issued
Right.
to vendors, that they are selling in the correct area, right? And is not causing any obstruction, not becoming a nuisance,
Right.
and not creating any disorder where the safety of other persons is put at risk. So it is the sort of a collaborative effort. And I have just named a few of the stakeholders that we partner with as we speak about general public safety and order.
What are some of the other areas? I would imagine ensuring that some of the criminal activity, not necessarily the major crimes, but more things along the lines like theft and pickpocketing, things like that. Those are part of the mandate to keep the public safe.
Yes, and we are doing policing in general, responding, being able to respond to citizens' need. Mm-hmm. Just recently there was a robbery in progress at a particular area, and we were able, having gotten the information, to have one of our roving unit to respond quickly to the situation. Mm-hmm. And an individual was held in the process. Our traffic enforcement activities doesn't only speak to the whole aspect of checking documents.
Right.
It is a complete set of activities that is done that also looks at criminal elements, because we know that the roadway is utilized in a lot of instances where persons try to move from point A to point B.
Right.
So part of our enforcement activities is not just about whether your documents is up to date, but it is looking totally at the national security picture in totality.
Because the fact is our criminals use the roads too.
That's the point. So we are looking broadly, but at the same time we have some specific areas of focus in order to ensure public safety and confidence.
All right, I'm going to go back to my initial two questions, just for those who may not have heard because of the audio issues. So I want you to again, SSP, just talk to the people, let them know. I mean, 2 months in, are you seeing the results in terms of impact of the new branch?
Right, and it's not 2 months.
Well, almost. Getting there.
A month and yes,
a month and change.
Yes, and a little. Yeah, yes. As I said, that the whole aspect of our focus, our citizens have been responding very, very positively on our various social media pages. Our tip line is abuzz with activities. We have been able to respond to the issues that they have raised. So yes, our objective is being achieved, but we recognize and we know that sustainability is critical in this. So, and I'm here to say publicly that, this is not a trial and error type of thing where we are just trying and another couple of weeks you don't see us. We are going to be out there, we are going to be there, we are going to be there, and we are ensuring that that sort of a dependability of our citizens on us is not in any way waned. So we are there to ensure that people get to their destination on time. We know that it is critical that the officer that is placed at an intersection provides for that effective presence that reduces disorder. And so when you get your time to go based on the changes of the traffic light,
Right.
you can actually go and not be impeded because of indiscipline.
Right.
So we ensure that our officers is strategically positioned at critical areas. And as I said, our citizens have been responding. Some will pull over and make their comments. Some will just give a wave or the toot of their horn. So we are encouraged by that, and we will remain focused in that regard.
We're here in Studio 58A live with SSP Calvin Allen, head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. He's just giving us a status update, breaking things down, showing us what's been happening on the streets since this new branch has been introduced. There's going to take some time to check in with those of us who were watching online. We really do appreciate those of you who have sent in your comments. It seems to be getting a lot of engagement, SSP.
That's good.
People seem to be asking lots of questions. Okay, seems to have flipped for a moment, so let me move on to my next question and I'll be right back with that. Now, naturally, in rolling out a new branch like this, there are going to be teething pains, there are going to be challenges that you come upon. Can you just talk about some of those and how you've managed to work through those? Because naturally, new branch, new mandate, especially being on the road with new roadworks and so on. So naturally, the atmosphere, the environment is there.
Yes,
for challenges.
It's new, but it is not that new. The branch itself, in terms of the name, is new. What is very good is the experience of the team that works at the branch. And so here you have persons formerly from the Motorized Patrol Division, who formerly from Traffic and Highway Division, that have been merged into forming this branch. And for the most part, these are officers at the various levels with a wealth of knowledge and experience in terms of road policing activities. So our program has been enriched because of this wealth of experience and the challenges that it comes with right off the bat, as we spoke of the level of construction taking place.
Exactly.
What also is good is the relationship that we have with a stakeholder known as the National Works Agency, and they are the persons who supervises all the projects that is going on. So we are able to work with them from several perspectives. One, we have an officer that monitors with them their cameras in a very modern facility that they have. And we are able to view the traffic flow from there, feed information to our officers on the road as to any situation that we see that is occurring. That is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it with the National Works Agency is that where we see, for instance, potholes, which naturally is a killer of the traffic, we point them out to them and for the necessary actions to be taken in terms of treating with those potholes. Because one vehicle slows down to maneuver that rough area, slows down the entire
line, and before you know it, is a gridlock.
That's the point. And even now, when we are having this sort of a weather condition, naturally, even without the rain, once it just sets up, you find that the traffic slows down. And there's a lot of water on the road right now, and it slows down the traffic. But our officers are out there, and I must commend the team. They have been doing a wonderful job. A lady said to me recently that she noticed one of the officers, it was raining, but he was still out there, and he was assisting in directing the traffic. And it's commendation all over. So those are feedback that is very encouraging, and we pledge to keep going because we know of the indiscipline that exists, and so our presence is critical to ensure that order prevails.
Right. Let me go again with our social media check-in. Thank you to Millicent Myers for your comment. Nedburn Thaf, appreciate that. Den Rich. And so many others as they go. They're essentially bigging you up, SSP, and thanking you for the work you're doing, appreciating the fact that we need to really revolutionize how we...
And I don't want to be selfish about it either. It's good to hear this, but I really want to, publicly commend the team, the ever so experienced stalwart of Courtney Kubri, Deputy Superintendent Watson, Errol Adams, Preston Ray, and the host of other officers and inspectors at the branch is critical. The leadership structure and the energies with which this team operates is essential and continues to be in terms of the sort of result and feedback that we are getting. So it's not Calvin Allen.
No, it's not just Calvin Allen.
No, it's not Calvin.
Branch, the whole team.
It is the team. It is the team, and I really appreciate the support of these men and women at the branch.
All right. Denrich has a fellow named Denrich has a comment, but says CCTV and police apps. When will the public see these up and running? It sounds like he's more interested in finding out how you're working with the technology, but you can just rehash for him how you're working with the command center at NWA and how that is working.
And the command center is working beautiful, very modern facility that is there, and a lot of motorists don't realize that they are captured on camera in terms of behavioral pattern, which we are taking action against, but just to be able to view what is happening along any particular corridor. They are able to see all that is happening in the corporate area. They are able to see all that is happening in Montego Bay, live flow of traffic that they are able to see, and we are able, based on this partnership, to take whatever action is necessary towards ensuring traffic flow or to deal with anything else towards a safer public and the whole aspect of the overall goal of national security.
No, I mean, you just mentioned about being able to respond quickly to a robbery in progress, but what are some of the other successes or victories that you can point to in the short time that you've been up and running and so on, and getting the police out there and so on? I'm sure there are things that kind of empower you and make the officers feel good about the work that they're doing. Is there anything in particular you can share with the public?
The greatest satisfaction is like those feedback that comes right now. That is our greatest satisfaction, to know that through our presence and effort, we are able to get people to their various destinations within reasonable time. People are now in a better position to even plan their time in terms of what time they leave home or otherwise. And the real-time information provided, we don't only depend on the information that citizens provide on the tip line. We also update information to that where people can view and see exactly what are the challenges. People like yourself, the media, the media, we work very closely with the media, and we can provide real-time information to the motoring public, for them to be aware that you might have a delay or two along this particular corridor because of whatever situation might be occurring. But the greatest of all satisfaction is to ensure is to know that through our efforts, people are able to go about their business with relative ease. Even though these massive construction is taking place, people feel safer, and we know that we have not reached to the pinnacle of where we want in terms of safety. But it is a work in progress, and we encourage the partnership with our various stakeholders and our citizens going forward.
All right, Denrich is saying thank you for answering his question, but thank you, Denrich, for your comment. We really do appreciate it, and if you have any more, feel free to ask them. We have him here. Take advantage of the opportunity to really get answers to your questions. Now, SSP, in terms of rollout, we know that it was planned that it would begin with the corporate area. How about going into further afield into the rural areas? How's the rollout for that going, and is there a timeline that you're working with?
Well, the initial rollout is corporate area, and is the most demanding of all the areas in the island. And part of the initial rollout is also for St. James, more so the Montego Bay area.
Correct, yes.
And we have a number of officers there, and they are on the road already in action. Spanish Town is another area that within very short time you'll be seeing a number of our officers being able to respond to the issues in the public spaces and to assist with the traffic flow in Spanish Town. For the other divisions, it is going to be a sort of a rollout that is going to be streamlined and systematic, where the commissioner will definitely be involved in terms of that sort of a rollout, that the public will now know that the public safety and traffic enforcement branch is now in this particular parish stroke division. And so over a period of time, in terms of the resource need or constraint or allocation, then all the divisions will over time benefit from this, as we seek to improve public confidence, to improve the image of the organization, to be able to respond to people's need within reasonable time, to create that greater order over a period of time. It will occur. Having said that, however, is not to say that there aren't officers in those divisions that is engaged in the enforcement of the Road Traffic Act. There are officers there, and they continue to be there in that regard, and they fall under our umbrella of monitoring. But in terms of the full rollout of the branch into those divisions, it will be done on a timely and systematic basis.
And it's no secret that the police can't do it by themselves. They need the buy-in and the partnership from members of the public. What is it that you want the public to do, or is there anything what tips can you give us to help you make your job easier? How can we work with you to ensure that we help you enforce the road code and maintain public order and so on? What are some of the things you were looking for in terms of partnership?
Let me respond from two perspectives. One is the very tip line that we would have provided, where people can provide information to us, and we can use that to respond from an enforcement perspective or otherwise. That is one. Two is it is more of what the motoring public can do for themselves. And let me tell you where I'm coming from. When we look at the number of lives that have been lost on our roads, and when we examine in greater detail from an analytical perspective the causes of some of these collisions, we are seeing where things like excessive speeding, improper overtaking, drivers failing to keep near side, meaning that drivers failing to keep their lane, and in a lot of instances some form of distraction might be taking place in the vehicle while they drift into the path of another and ends a collision, and in a lot of instances it results in deaths. So what is my word to the public? We really want for you to operate with greater maturity, greater consciousness. An holiday is coming up in another few days, and we are a people. Yes, we are a people that celebrate, and it is a very important holiday too, as we recognize and celebrate those who have charted the path for us. But we want for persons to do so with that level of consciousness and responsibility. Yes, go and jollificate, go and enjoy, go and have fun, but do so in a responsible way, right? If you are the person that is involved in the consumption of alcohol, then you should not be the person driving that vehicle. So how you can help us? We want for you to be far more mature in how you make decisions about your own self, especially as you use the roadway. We have seen also where a number of lives have been lost in terms of our pedestrian, and so our pedestrian is not using the roadway properly. When we were growing up, you heard about look up and look down.
Look left, look right, make sure the way is clear.
The correct thing is look right, look left, look right again, just to ensure before you decide to cross that street. And we want for persons to take that into account. And I'm sending this message to our parents, as we know that with this last school term that has just started in September, a lot of youngsters are on the road for the first time. And so we want for them to teach them. Yes, we are going out into schools, because we have our road safety unit that goes out with our public education messages. But we want for you to play your part in ensuring that you teach it for yourselves, teach it to your children as to the correct way in how you use the various roadways.
I'm going to interrupt you 1 second. We have a question from Vanessa Christocentric Silvera. Have the PS-TEB officers been trained in dealing with persons living with disabilities?
Yes, in fact, trained, but basic training that they have gotten. It is part of one of the things that we are looking at, not in terms of only disability, but in terms of even mental health.
Right.
Because one of the partners that we will be working with is the Ministry of Health in terms of their mental care unit. And we would have seen persons on the road with various mental care situations, and they can sometimes become a danger to the public. So that is a group of that is a stakeholder, the Ministry of Health, that we'll be working with in that regard. But in terms of persons with various disability, whatever we can do to assist, well, you would have passed some of us out on the Marcus Garvey East Avenue, and that very busy pedestrian intersection that is there. Whilst we are there, we don't allow for people to cross without one of our officers assisting the
That's
person.
Like a personal touch to ensure that you touch the people and work with them.
Yes, so we would pause the traffic in order to assist persons to get across. And for the number of weeks that I have been personally out there, we have seen a number of persons who might have various
disabilities or
various type of physical challenge, and really require that sort of an help to get across to the other side within a reasonable time. We ensure that we don't allow that to go unnoticed.
All right, next question up from Melissa Green. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate that. The presence of the PS-TEB is not seen in Spanish Town. When can we expect to see them? So when can they expect to see them?
Very soon. Very soon. In fact, without giving a time frame, we're just working out a little logistics. Myself and the SSP in charge of the St. Catherine North Division just have some fine tuning to do in terms of some issues. But in very, very short order, you'll be seeing a number of the officers in Spanish Town here assisting along that corridor.
All right. Well, it seems more like a comment from Doreen Dwyer. I guess she wants you to weigh in. Thank you, Doreen. Appreciate it. Some drivers have no concerns about pedestrians. They are the ones who control the road, even if pedestrians are at the pedestrian crossing. So it seems like there's not enough due care being shown by the drivers for the pedestrians who have to walk.
And yes, it happened. And it is a breach. It is a breach of the law, because once pedestrians are using the pedestrian crossing, then you ought to yield in that regard. But one of the things that we say to pedestrians also, that we encourage you, do not step onto that pedestrian crossing until all vehicles come to a complete stop. Right? We have seen situations where persons seem to be stepping onto the pedestrian crossing to force the motorist to stop. Right? Remember that is a mechanical vehicle, and so we want for your own personal safety that you ensure that you do not step onto that pedestrian crossing until the vehicles come to a complete stop.
I agree with you completely on that one. I always tell people I don't trust the brakes more than I trust myself.
That's the point.
I don't realize I wouldn't recommend it. But you have the SSP giving you some real good food for thought here. I mean, it's not just about the branch, it's about using our roads responsibly and efficiently so that we can all get to where we're going safely and in a good condition. So I guess I'll give you the last word as we move towards wrapping now. What's the final message you want persons to know and understand coming from you as head of the PS-TEB branch, and what I'm just communicating through the men and women out there in uniform who are helping direct traffic and help people work with them to go about their way and so on? What's the final message you want them to appreciate as you go forward?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thanks to the various persons who have taken time out to give their various comments, and we view everything. Some of the criticism are very constructive, and we use that to do whatever tweaking is necessary to improve the service that we offer. Going forward, we are in the final quarter of 2018, and holiday a few days away, but the bigger holiday comes up in the final month in December, and so we are ramping up our activities in terms of road policing activities to ensure that from our efforts we'll seek to reduce road fatalities. We realize that tint on our vehicles, especially on public passenger vehicles. Although we have done several prosecutions, we are seeing where persons have remained defiant in some respect, and we will be ramping up this particular area. It is a critical area of public safety where for a public passenger vehicle, we need to be able to see what is happening within that vehicle. And so our officers will be given focus, or continuous focus, and somewhat of a renewed energies within that realm. So for persons who are the owners of public passenger vehicles, if you don't want to be inconvenienced, then ensure that you comply with the respective grade of tint that you ought to use on your vehicle, so that transporting your passengers, we really want people to get to work on time. But if you are breaching the law, we will have to take action.
I mean, as a follow-up to that, where can people find out where the right tint is? Some people might just buy the car, put on a tint because it look cool, you know what I mean? And then find themselves off all of the law. So
yes, the Transport Authority has the entire specifics as it relates to the grade tint. What we're talking about a 30% grade that because critically is to be able to see a view, have that view on the inside of the vehicle to see what is happening. We have had situations where a number of our women or female have been abducted one way or another, and a vehicle that is very dark can stop at your feet and you don't know what is happening on the inside of it. But for now, the focus is on public passenger vehicles, also on private vehicles. For private vehicles, whilst you will be allowed now to do the tinting at the side and the back, the front, the windscreen, or to have just a 6-inch visor. Right, we have seen situations where persons have, believe it or not, tint the entire windscreen of their vehicle. Some have tinted the headlight or their brake light. I don't know exactly what they are trying to do, but it is a public safety issue.
It sounds like it's trying to look cool.
It's a public safety issue, and it is one that we will be giving that sort of a focus to.
All right. Some more comments coming in, Doreen. I really appreciate them coming in fast and nice. Keep them coming, Doreen. Really appreciate it. Says, I'm looking forward to see these cameras installed for both traffic as well as criminal elements all over Jamaica. I'm aware it's costly, but the results will prove less costly. So, I mean, she's paying attention. She's looking out to see
and you'd have heard the
technology.
government speaking as to a number of cameras through Jamaica High that will be installed right across the island. So, and technology is the way to go. An officer can't be everywhere.
Exactly.
So
Can't be on every street corner.
So these technologies will be used to capture, retrieve, and take action.
All right. And Yvonne Stewart Williams Butler says, thank you for coming in to explain. And Patsy Wynn gives you a thumbs up, so you must be doing something good out there on the streets.
Appreciate. As I said, it is Team PS-TEB.
All right, wonderful. It's time for us to wrap. Thanks to everyone who tuned into our discussion. We got lots of comments, and we really do appreciate each and every single one of them. Thank you for taking the time to type in, and I'm sure SSP Allen appreciates the feedback from members of the public. And if you sent in a question and we didn't get to answer it, not to worry. We'll be going through afterwards and be able to send them to SSP and put them up so you can keep following the thread and keep coming back to the video for rewatch value. We won't watch it as many times as you like. We appreciate it each and every single time. Remember, our audience plays a major part in our show. If there's anyone in particular you'd like us to have in studio, let us know, and we'll try our best to have that person in studio as soon as possible. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. We're on every platform. Just follow us and you'll find out who's in studio next. We do this every Thursday live on Facebook. I've been your host, Vaughn Davis, and this has been Studio 58A Live. Thank you for joining us, and please, as always, have a good day.